Let me know in the chat if you guys can hear me. If you have any issues, do let me know. But we're going to get straight into it.
Perfect.
So you were eloquently telling me who you are and what you do. Would you please kindly be able to repeat yourself for those that missed it?
Definitely. So I'm Sia. I work at TikTok down in the London headquarters. Specifically, I work on managing the e-commerce operations, so TikTok Shop. So what my team does is basically help businesses, sellers onboard to TikTok Shop, kind of help them kickstart in a way that sets themselves up for success and then nurtures them until they're sort of consistently making sales on the app.
Okay. Can I ask you how you got into this role? And I guess leading on to the next question, what's exciting about TikTok Shop, which is what we're going to be focusing on? What's the exciting factor that our audience and people listening that you want to say and tell them?
Yeah. So how I got into this sort of role is I've always been interested in moving into an e-commerce sort of focused role. I think it's the future of shopping, of retail, and I think it's where businesses need to be. So I just sort of wanted to explore that in my career. I did a postgraduate here in London, which is why I'm here. And I got connected with someone who works at TikTok, more on the monetization side of the actual TikTok app. So that's how I got introduced to the business. I ended up working through an internship, and then I landed in this role. So yeah, I'm excited to see where things go. Especially now that we've launched the e-commerce side in the UK last year. We're very much in an expanding phase, so it's very exciting over in the office. I think what is something that's like super exciting about TikTok Shop is that it's different from any other e-commerce platform right now. So I'll just take a step back and explain what TikTok Shop is. I'm sure people are aware of what TikTok is.
Yes.
And TikTok ads, TikTok for business, but TikTok Shop is its own sort of entity.
Yeah.
So TikTok Shop is TikTok's like e-commerce solution integrated within the app. So basically it allows merchants, businesses to come on and sell their products to customers through a fully closed loop transaction. So what I mean by that is that customers can pretty much watch content that these merchants are putting out, and it will have like a product pinned, for example. And the merchants can have their own, you can think of it as like a virtual storefront within the app. It allows customers to do the entire purchase process without leaving the app, which compared to other e-commerce platforms where, they're usually being directed to the brand's website or an external landing page, it's much less disruptive. And it just makes the path to purchase more immediate from what we're seeing. And I think taking an even further step back from TikTok Shop, the question I get asked a lot is not how it works, but why it works so well. And I think to do that, you need to sort of understand what's going on in the e-commerce landscape in the UK in general. So globally, e-commerce is continuing to grow, and especially that is true in the UK. We're seeing that e-commerce is growing more than traditional shopping in the next few years, and then even more so than that, social commerce, which if you're not familiar with the term, it's basically online shopping on social media platforms. So the UK is actually the third largest spender in e-commerce. But to put that into context, it's like the 21st country in terms of population. So it's where businesses in the UK specifically want to be right now. And I have like a few stats here that I thought were very compelling. So in terms of social commerce, 85% of consumers have actually purchased after seeing a product advertised on social media. It's a huge number. And 4 out of 5 people are likely to buy something, whether if they've watched a live stream about it or they've participated in like a conversation about it, which is only really accessible through social media. So it's what businesses really need to get on board with. And where TikTok comes in is that we're sort of sitting at this new cross section of like social commerce and live commerce. So we're seeing this work really well. And I'm sure you've heard of the hashtag TikTok made me buy it phenomena.
Yeah.
So as of the beginning of this year, we have had 39 billion views on that hashtag.
Wow.
Which is crazy if you think about the world population being a little less than 8 billion.
Yeah.
So
39 billion.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah, 39 billion and counting. That was January of this year. And I think people are taking offline as well. I don't know if you've seen in like your pharmacy or Boots, there's stands of like hashtag TikTok made me buy it for these brands who are using that to sort of promote their products.
Yeah.
So all in all, I think why TikTok Shop is compelling and unique is that it's a really strong driver of purchase intent in a different way. It doesn't really fit into the traditional e-commerce model because we have our algorithm, right? So that surfaces really relevant, entertaining content to potential customers. And those videos often feature products that they may have never seen before, may have never considered before. So there's that discoverability aspect that other social commerce platforms don't have. And that's why businesses are really able to go viral by hopping on to like the hyper relevant culture and community that we have on the app.
Yeah. I guess I've got a question off the back of that. And you may have seen this as a bit of a curveball, but take your time to answer it as well. If you have a business and you don't particularly have a product to sell, but you have a service to sell, how could a service led or focused business utilize TikTok Shop?
That's a great question. So right now on TikTok Shop, we're limited to products that have to be basically like tangible or physically shippable. That's for now. But a service, for example, I think, well, maybe having a TikTok Shop might not be the right avenue at this point because you have to have your products showcased within
tangible,
your shop. You can use TikTok, of course, and you can use TikTok advertising and get your brand name out there. And then, link externally to your brand and sort of build up that audience, your loyal customers on the app before eventually TikTok Shop might be able to have sort of these digital or service focused products available.
And I guess the second question I had of why TikTok Shop is what separates TikTok Shop from, let's say, the likes of Facebook Marketplace or even WhatsApp are now. I don't know if they're yet to integrate the shopping element to the platform, but it's something that's being spoken about. What separates TikTok Shop from these other platforms, and why is it something that you feel what gives them the upper hand?
Yeah, great question. So I think there's two things. I think the actual user experience, which I alluded to earlier, where it's fully in-app. So these customers or potential customers are already leaned in, engaged in the content. It's very easy with the format of these videos where the project is pinned. Just click, it's one tap, they're taken to your store within TikTok Shop. All their information, their payment information, shipping information, everything is stored in there once they set up for the first time. And then it's just very easy to buy what you want and then get back to watching your videos. It's not very disruptive. Whereas I feel like the longer the path to purchase, the more likely people are going to drop off. So when you get redirected to another page and you have to enter your shipping information, for example, all over again, that's when you sort of take a break and you're like, do I need to buy this right now? TikTok makes that a lot more immediate. That's one advantage we have. And then the other, I think, is that discoverability aspect I spoke to earlier. So traditionally e-com, the way it works is, maybe someone has a product in mind or they're looking for a certain something and they go on, they search it up, and then they browse and then they purchase, right? But on TikTok, they are getting sort of fed content that's really relevant to them, and they're discovering products as they go. And so if you think about it, we've sort of relied on who we trust to tell us in this really oversaturated market where we have tons of brands, tons of options. We have relied on like friends and families to filter out our choices. And there's actually a study that says, 59% of consumers will purchase a product based on what a friend or family has recommended, or if they've seen them use it. But that's closely followed by actually 39% of consumers purchasing based on TikTok videos, which actually comes well above other e-commerce and traditional ad platforms. So in some aspects, you can think of TikTok and TikTok Shop as the most similar to a trusted friend or family recommending you products at scale. So this is how businesses can use TikTok to stand out in a very oversaturated field.
So we've covered the why. We've covered why you feel that you're better than all those other people, right? We've covered if somebody is a service-led first business, how they can utilize a platform or the alternatives to utilize a platform. How does somebody actually set up a TikTok shop?
Yeah, so it's actually very simple. There's a few steps. So you'd first go to our seller registration page, which is seller-uk.tiktok.com, or if you can pull up that slide.
We've got a slide there, Jeremiah. If you put up the slide, I think Sia is going to explain what people...
Yeah, so the steps are listed out there. If you guys want to take a screenshot, there's also a QR code, and that'll take you to our registration page, which will make things super simple for you guys. You can register with your email or phone number as either an individual business or a business owner or a corporate. And then there are slightly different documents required for both, which is the next step. So once you're signed up, you have to go through a verification process. It's quite simple. All the instructions are provided very clearly on the page. You'll have to provide, a UK-based passport or driving license. You might need to give a certificate of registration if you're registering as a corporate entity. You might need to take a selfie. But once you're verified, which is a very quick turnaround, that's when you start uploading your products and making content. Easy as that.
On that, so I've set up my shop. What do I do next?
There's a lot. I feel like I could talk for an hour about what you do next. So once you register, you will have access to Seller Center, which is basically your sort of back-end shop management platform. So you can think about this as the back room of your storefront that your customers don't see, and where you sort of manage everything from logistics to shipping, stock, products, everything. So once you're registered, once you're onboarded, the first thing you want to do is link your TikTok account to your shop. And why this is important is by linking the two, and if you don't have a TikTok account, it's very easy. Once you download the app, you can just sign up. But the reason you want to link the two is you're able to connect your products that you upload onto your Seller Center or that back-end management platform to the different ways you can sell on TikTok Shop, which are the short videos that you guys are used to seeing on TikTok, the live streams, and then your product showcase, which is basically like your digital shelf for all your products. So what you want to do to be able to do that is you log into your seller app, you go to settings, and then you click link TikTok accounts. You can have one official account and 4 marketing accounts. So just keep that in mind. And then that'll allow you to sort of pin your products within your content that drives to your store. So that's number one. In terms of uploading your products, there are 3 ways to do that. So you can do it one by one by clicking Add Product on Seller Center. You can do a batch upload, or I think a question we get a lot for people who already are sort of on other platforms is if they're able to integrate and automatically sync their products from like a Shopify, WooCommerce, Magento, for example. So there are ways that we can do that. If you're trying to integrate your products from these types of platforms, we have some amazing third-party integration services. You can find those options in Seller Center as well if you go to Service Market. And we're consistently adding more third-party integrations. So just a thing to keep an eye out on in case you don't see one that you're already on. Then you want to set up shipping. So we have 2 options for shipping. You can ship by platform, which basically means that you would use TikTok's preferred integrated ship shipping platform or logistics service, which is Every, or you can choose to ship by yourself. So the only restriction for that is that it would have to be someone who's on our list of like integrated logistics services. And then that's pretty much it. You're set up, and then you can start making content.
So what Sia just said is that you basically need to watch everything that she said all over again, because that step-by-step process was very, very, very intense, but it broke down everything that we need to be doing to make sure that we're set up properly.
Exactly. And you actually don't need to watch me again. We have amazing resources on Seller Center. We have a kind of university called Seller Academy that you'll get access to as soon as you sign up.
Okay.
And that has amazing kind of guidebooks, videos, tutorials to the smallest detail about these kind of things. So they're very quick bites. You can follow our TikTok account, Sellwit TikTok Shop _UK. And that also has like great information on this kind of stuff. So you don't need to watch my face or like keep replaying me.
I guess the other question I had, when we've got our historical websites that we can customize, make it look how we want, align it with our brand colors, does TikTok Shop allow us to edit the look and feel of what we want the shop to look like?
Yeah, great question. So you can't customize your shop itself, but I think that's where it comes in, getting creative with your content that you're putting out. That's where you can really show off like your brand story, your aesthetic, what your products look like. So while your TikTok shop is sort of just like your static storefront, I think the content is where you would show your business's personality.
Yeah. So basically majoring more on what you're using to actually promote the product.
Exactly.
And then the product placement is actually just the storefront itself. Makes sense. We're flying through these questions now. How do I promote my TikTok shop to potential customers?
Yeah. So the sort of foundation of how you promote on TikTok Shop and drive traffic to your products is making that content and making it often. I think, am I allowed to say this? Spoiler alert, that we're having another session next month.
You can say it. You can tell them.
So my colleague's going to be coming in and telling everyone about how to make great content that actually sells, and going a little further into what that content is. But there's basically 3 ways that you can sell on TikTok Shop. So that's lives or live streams.
Yeah.
You have shoppable videos. So those are those in-feed videos that go viral quickly. And then you have your product showcase, which I mentioned before, which is sort of like your bookshelf for your products, where you can showcase like hero products, things like that. And the difference between just regular live streams or short videos that you see on TikTok and then these sort of e-commerce focused ones is that you have a orange shopping cart at the bottom that customers see, and they can pretty much just click into the video, look like the video that's featuring a product, for example, and then that takes you to the TikTok shop. So the reason you want to make content as much as possible and as often as possible is the algorithm is learning as you're making more content who your customers are. And the more you make the content, the more the algorithm has a chance to learn and send it to or have it show up on the right people's feeds.
People, yeah.
But also it allows you to test and learn. So you get a lot of great back-end metrics on Seller Center. And if you're testing, the time of day you go live, how long you go live, what days, then you can sort of get like statistically significant evidence of what actually works for your products and your customers.
Yeah.
The other way that you can sell, especially I think a lot of businesses, especially small businesses who might not have like the same sort of resources as like big brands.
Yeah.
I think the idea of putting out content sort of scares them. It's daunting. And it's a little different than any other platform. First of all, I'll say like the great thing about TikTok Shop is that it's all about authenticity and being realistic. You don't need to have perfect content. It's not like, your advertising assets where everything's done in the studio, perfectly executed. People engage more with really realistic, authentic, real content. But that said, if you do want to leverage the expertise of people who do this for a living, or it's their bread and butter. TikTok Shop, and something that makes us super unique is we give access to our creators. So we have thousands of creators, or you might have heard them called affiliates, who will create content for you, showing off your products, linking to your TikTok Shop. It's not their TikTok Shop. And we have a platform called Affiliate Marketplace. And that lets you easily connect to these creators.
Okay.
You can either put your products out there and say, it's open, free for all. Whoever's interested, contact me if you think this fits in with
If it links in with you, yeah.
Exactly. Or you can look for specific creators who you think might fit your brand.
Yeah.
And then from there, you just negotiate your sort of commission rate with them, one-on-one, and then it's very simple.
Yeah.
And I think what that helps, especially for businesses who might not have, and you don't need any followers to start on TikTok Shop. You need 0 followers. But it allows you to expand your follower
reach.
pool, your reach, because you might be able to now reach the very loyal followers of an influencer or a creator that has like 100,000 followers, for example. And then those people become your incremental followers and your incremental customers. So that's a great way to promote your TikTok Shop.
Yeah. Just before you carry on, I think that is a really, really great incentive. If TikTok is allowing new businesses or people that may not even have profiles on TikTok to align themselves with the affiliates or the influencers that you guys are working with, and all you need to do is agree a fee or a commission of what percentage they're going to be getting from the product. I think that's an amazing incentive.
Exactly.
Because you've like you said, you will expose your business and yourself to potentially millions, hundreds of thousands of people that you didn't have in the first place.
Exactly. And we make it super easy. You don't have to go through like an agency to speak with them, and you don't have to source them yourself. They're all in this marketplace for you to sort of look at. You can look at their statistics as well, their metrics, how they've been performing, to sort of give you an idea if it fits your brand. And while we don't have a minimum number of followers required for businesses or sellers, we do require that creators have at least 1,000 followers. So automatically, no matter who you're working with, you have 1,000 potentially incremental customers, which is great. And then I would say the third way that you can promote on TikTok Shop is taking part in our missions and our challenges. So we really want to make things as easy as possible for our sellers to help them grow. And we have a growth center. So what you can do is you can go on Growth Center. You basically look up like what challenges or incentives are going on right now. And there'll be things like, go live 3 times this month or put out 10 short videos. And once you hit that criteria, you will get rewards from us. And those rewards will be in the form of, we have product vouchers and promo coupons. So product vouchers allow you to give your customers a discount. For example, maybe like £2 off 10 pounds for shipping, but it's on us. So you still get the full price of your product, but we carry the weight of taking that discount. So that's a huge incentive for customers.
Really good. That's really good.
And then you have promo coupons, which allow you to promote traffic to your videos. So it's sort of like advertising almost, where we sort of give you guys a boost. So great sort of incentives to take advantage of for a very low, threshold. And then the last thing I would say is once you start on TikTok Shop, we connect every business with our Kickstarter manager. So this is a team of experts that will work with you one-to-one.
Are they actually experts?
They are experts.
No one's watching. Are they actually experts?
They are experts.
Okay.
They know what they're talking about. They will be able to work with you to give you best practices, like trending hashtags, trending music, just things to keep your finger on the pulse of, and work with you on growth strategies, because it's a win-win for both if the business grows, and then if the Kickstarter managers businesses that they're working with grow as well and are consistently making sales, like it's great for us as well. So I would say those are like the ways to really start promoting.
So the different options that you just mentioned there, how do people see these when they sign up? Are they things that they will receive in follow-up emails, or is it something that they will have to go out and look for?
Yeah, so you'll get emails, you'll get like messages within the Seller Center platform. So basically, like you will be living on Seller Center. There's tons of content on there. So if you get on Seller Center, that's where you can get to like the affiliate marketplace. That's where you can get to the growth. What is the word? Growth Center.
So you should have had that coffee.
I know. But also you'll be getting contacted by us through, we have messages coming out on the app. We have emails as well. We have newsletters to keep you guys apprised. And then these Kickstarter managers will be getting in contact with you as well. We have an internal sort of chat system called Lark. So once you sign up, you can join Lark, and that offers a sense of community as well, because you'll be on this group with not only your TikTok Kickstarter managers, but also other businesses who have just started. So you can talk to each other, share like your knowledge, which is great. So that's how I think people kind of get that information.
Okay, no, that's good. I think that generally speaking, like the information that you're saying, people will receive in the center. Because one thing we know, business owners from the community that we run, business owners, one thing that they are very precious of is time, and also the finance or resource that they have to be running the businesses. So if from what you're saying that these things are very, very user friendly, it's there for you and accessible for you, I think that is a great incentive. And I'm just fascinated by the fact that I don't have to have any followers, but I can contact or get in contact with a creator or an affiliate of TikTok for them to push it out on their own platforms. And I get the chance to expose myself and my business through their network. Especially if it aligns with what I'm trying to do as well. I think that's great.
Exactly.
Absolutely
I think that's
great.
one of our biggest USPs, but it's also something a lot of people aren't aware of.
Yes.
So
that's why I'm so shocked.
I know, exactly.
Like, why are you guys not screaming about this?
We really need to start doing that, because I do think that is a huge sort of like barrier to people when they first start like making content, getting followers. So definitely. And also, another thing I just want to mention, we know that things are changing constantly in the e-com landscape, but also at TikTok. So we also have a policy center on Seller Center, where you can check consistently, like if there are any updates that are relevant to your business.
I've got a question here before I carry on my questions. Someone asked, how much is the seller's fee? And is there a trial for £1 like Shopify does?
That's a really good question. So we have a 5% commission fee. It's actually one of the lowest, if not the lowest, of most e-com platforms out there. We actually were interviewing a seller on our channel the other day, and he was raving about it. But we do have a discounted commission fee when you sign up. If you upload a product and start selling within your first 60 days, for 90 days, that commission fee drops down to 1.8%, which is a huge discount. And that's when I say that people should really start taking advantage of like making content and making sales while they still can. So that's our standard commission fee, the 5% to TikTok. But then I just want to make it clear that that's separate from working with the creators. So when you're working with the creators, you would negotiate yourself what their commission fee would be, and that would be on top of the 5% that TikTok would get. Okay,
so before I move on, let's talk about. I like to play this game. I call it the persona game. Right, on every webinar we do it. So I bring you a persona, and you tell me what that person should do. Or how that person should approach it. So my name is. I was going to call myself Jeremiah, but Jeremiah sat there. I don't know where I came from. Let's say my name is Bobby Bob, right? and Bobby Bob, starting on TikTok. I have no followers. I have no confidence, and I really don't even want to start creating content. I've got a really good product which is doing well on traditionally in a marketplace. I sell it on Saturdays at stalls. People are really buzzing about it, but I want to put myself in TikTok shop. Where do I, Bobby Bob, find these affiliates? How do I contact them? How do I find them? And how do I know which one is right for me?
Yeah. Okay. Well, first, Bobby Bob, I question your parents' taste about your name.
Oh gosh.
So Bobby Bob, what you want to do is get on that affiliate marketplace that I mentioned earlier. That is like really the online sort of situation, the same situation as if you're going out and like meeting these people in person.
Yeah.
So, or going to like a trade show, for example, where you can meet influencers. So once you get on affiliate marketplace, you can either create an open plan, and that's when you say, hey, I'm this business, I have this great product, this is sort of what I'm looking for when it comes to like the content or you know what this product's about, who I want to reach. And then creators will be able to see that, and they can either jump on board and get in contact with you and say, you know, I want to start promoting this product. And what I recommend, if you have the means to do so, is like sending samples out. That always works, because these creators are very protective of their fan base. And something about TikTok is that like the creators connect with their followers through this like authenticity and realness, and it really doesn't go down well when they're just sort of promoting products for the sake of it. They really have to believe in it. And that's why working with creators like bridges that trust gap between businesses and users as well. Or the other thing you can do is, if you've seen certain creators on other platforms, or you've seen them on TikTok, and you already know, like, I want this person to be the face of my brand, you can reach out to them directly. So Bobby Bob can say, hey, how are you? I have this product. And you know, it won't be anything new for them because they're on Creator Marketplace. They've been approached by businesses before. They know how this works. And you can say, well, are you interested in this? And then, you know, have a conversation. If it works out, then that's when you start negotiating. And yeah, it's really as simple as that.
Literally, as you were talking there, a question from Courtney just came in, and Courtney said, I think what Courtney means by this is, correct me if I'm wrong, Courtney, do you mean where do TikTok find the creators, or how do we find the creators on when we get onto the affiliate marketplace? Let me know which one it is, Courtney. But can you answer both anyway? So where does TikTok find these creators? Like, how do we know that these creators are not aliens or robots? And how do we know that Bobby Bob, how do I know I can trust that creator? And also, where is that affiliate marketplace?
So the affiliate marketplace is in Seller Center. So if you go in Seller Center, I don't have like a slideshow, but there's a ton of tabs, and it's very easy to navigate. So you'll be able to see affiliate marketplace. You'll be able to see within Data Compass, where we host all the metrics when it comes to your shop. You'll also be able to see like the creators' metrics as well. So it's fairly simple, but if you do have questions or you're lost, that's when you would go to Seller Academy. There's a great sort of tutorial on navigating Seller Center. How TikTok finds our creators. So we do work with like creator agencies and creator partnerships, for example, but also creators can sign up the same way that sellers can. So there's like a different entrance for creators to register onto TikTok Shop. And then, you know, they have the requirement of 1,000 followers. And then just like sellers have to be verified because we want to ensure like the safety and authenticity of everyone. Creators will go through their own process as well. So you have that guarantee that TikTok is sort of endorsing these creators. Like everyone on the marketplace is going to be trustworthy. Yeah. But you have the sort of backup that you won't pay a creator until they make a sale.
Yeah, that's one of the questions I was gonna.
Exactly. So, it's kind of like a fallback. Yeah.
Okay, so that shouldn't be like so Bobby Bob again. Should I pin all my hopes on that creator, or should that creator complement some of the other activity that I should be looking to do on the platform?
Yeah, so I definitely the latter.
Yeah.
You definitely shouldn't pin all your hopes on the creator or put all your eggs in one basket. I think creators are, again, a great way to expand your reach, especially if, as a business starting off, you're not even sure who your audience is and you're just trying to explore and build an audience pool. But I think like the bread and butter of TikTok Shop and driving traffic to your shop, becoming viral, for example, is putting out the short video content and the live stream content, and those should work complementarily. So short videos are great because you can feature one product, you can tell your story, you can pin the product, and it makes it super easy for people to buy. But live streams, what's great about them and what's cool about live streams is that I sort of call it like the QVC of our generation. It's like bridging that gap between traditional shopping and online shopping. Online shopping is like a solo activity. Live streams make it community activity. You're getting comments, you're interacting with people. Customers are interacting with customers in the comments, and they're getting sort of like testimonials in real time. And then you also can use live streams to engage with your customers, sort of like how a store clerk would. You can answer their questions. You can sort of like show off a product, maybe something that doesn't come across in the picture of the product, for example, or the description of the product. You can get like really fun with it. You can do like a product unboxing. Those do really well. So it kind of adds that layer that like short videos would be able to, that real-time layer. So I would definitely say, going back to your question, don't just rely on creators, definitely make your own content as well. And as you work in tandem with creators and making your own content, those creators' followers will become your customers, and then they'll start getting your content, So that's why you want to have both.
No, that makes sense. Just to clarify this point, once again, Bobby Bob, I told you I'm doing well on Saturdays. I'm selling stuff in the market stores, doing well, and I've got my own website there as well. How easy is it for me to merge or integrate that from there to TikTok Shop?
Yeah, so that goes back to those ISV or integration partners that I mentioned. So if you have a Shopify, for example, already, and you don't want to manually upload your products again on TikTok Shop, you can go to our service market and Seller Center, and that's where you can find all of our third-party integration options. We don't have our own sort of API at this time. So those third-party integrations, you'll have to do a little bit of your own research, figure out what makes the most sense for you. You might need to like pay their fee on top, but it's a great way to sync your products from your existing shop.
Yeah. Okay. No, that makes sense. How do I handle for shipping and fulfillment for my TikTok Shop orders?
Yeah. So if you decide to ship by platform, basically TikTok will come and they'll fulfill for you. So they'll pick up the product and then they'll deliver it to the customer using Every. And there's a lot of like policy around it that I won't get into now.
T's and C's.
Yeah, that's all that information is also on Seller Center and Seller Academy. There are just some guidelines around, dispatching and making sure you're shipping things out in time. And then there's a settlement period. So when your customer has a chance to sort of, if they are not satisfied and they want to return an item or they want to file a complaint or something, that there's like a settlement period for that. So those are like the things to keep in mind. If there is a sort of customer service issue or you need to be speaking with customers, we do have on Seller Center as well. It's called Buyer Messages, and it's basically like an inbox where you can talk directly with these customers. And then if there's any issues that come up that you need TikTok's help with, maybe there's like a malicious review or something like that from a customer for some reason, that, it's not even true. Then you can contact us through our customer service. So you can raise a ticket on Seller Center, or you can email us at ukseller@tiktok.com. And then we'll work with you internally with our logistics team or governance team to make sure that that's all cleared up and get to the bottom of it.
Yeah. That you actually answered in part my next question, which was how do I manage like customer service inquiries on TikTok Shop? So you're saying that there's an aspect of the platform where once someone places an order or before someone places an order, can they send you or can they send me as the seller questions to?
I'm not really sure about sending questions before.
Okay.
They can obviously comment on your content.
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
But I'm not sure if it's like Etsy where you can sort of interact with or send the messages before you actually purchase. But yes, if you're on Seller Center, you're on like the home page. There's like it looks like a little chat box. It's called Buyer Messages, and if you click on that, it opens up to your entire inbox.
Okay. Oh, that makes sense. So there's some people here that like numbers, right? They want to know that this is working for me well. They want to know that this is the best time for me to be doing this. What what analytics and insights are available for the performance of TikTok Shop for the person that is selling?
Yeah, we have a lot. So I keep mentioning Seller Center. Hopefully it's ingrained in everyone's head at this point, because it really is sort of like your operations hub.
Yeah.
So if you go on Seller Center, there's a tab called Data Compass. And Data Compass is your analytics hub. So you can see your top performing product, for example, it's product level and shop level data. So you can see things like revenue, conversion, shop visitors, product sales, orders, things like that. And you can filter by criteria like, highest revenue or bestsellers or, most visited. So you get those sort of back-end metrics. But you can also find analytics from your live streams and your shoppable videos. Things like click-to-order rate, views, product impressions, traffic, things like that. And then, as I mentioned before, that's also where you can see creator analytics. So if you're working with a creator, you can see, how their videos are doing as well.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's very clear, and this is very, very clear to see in
Seller Center.
Seller Center. There we go. Are there any restrictions or guidelines that I should be aware of when selling on TikTok Shop?
Yeah, so we have some prohibited categories of products. They're mostly common sense, like drug paraphernalia, alcohol, weapons. Human body parts is one of them.
Okay.
I think there's a bigger issue if you're trying to avoid those.
Yeah.
But we also have invite-only categories. So that basically means you need to apply to be whitelisted. Your shop needs to be whitelisted. And it's a very easy process.
Yeah.
So once you sign up, what you can do is send an email to its category-application-UK at
God. All right. Say that one more time.
Category-application-UK at tiktok.com. Or this might be easier to remember, ukseller@tiktok.com. That's sort of our general inquiries inbox, so we can route you to the correct category team that will help you whitelist your products. But basically, those invite-only categories is food and beverages, non-alcoholic beverages, and then gold and silver jewelry. It's just an added layer of sort of like verification and protection.
Yeah.
It's very easy. So once you email that inbox or email UK sellers inbox, then you're like in great hands with the team that will basically help you whitelist your products, and then you'll be able to upload them. So those are just two things to keep in mind. I think sort of along this vein, there are some key tips to avoid your products being rejected when you upload them. So one of them is making sure that the product title is really clear, it's accurate, and it includes key information. So for example, like a bad example would be like a green pillowcase. It's very like vague, right? You want to have your product title be something like pure Egyptian cotton green 40 by 60 cm pillowcase set of 2, something like that.
Yeah.
No surprises there. Then you need to also be really careful with your product description. So I think the number one thing to remember is that it should be accurate and nothing that's like over promising, overstated.
Yeah.
If you're going to say something like, 100% organic, there needs to be evidence and documentation to back that up, because we never want to mislead the customer. So if you do say something like that, not just in your product description, but in any of the content you're putting out, just make sure that you have like the facts to back it up.
Yep.
And then the same with like the images and videos, they need to accurately represent the product. Don't make it look like bigger or out of scale or whatever. And then product pricing, this one is tricky. I would say my recommendation is go look at how similar products are priced within TikTok Shop. Just look them up and see what's out there. If you are going to price your product higher than what's sort of the market norm, I think that's where you need to differentiate your brand, and you can leverage our live streams and our Shoppo videos and our content to do that and like really show off the USP of those products and why they're priced higher, which TikTok is a great platform to do. Yeah.
That was very comprehensive.
Great.
Very, very comprehensive. So I guess my final question is just to round up this conversation as well. If you do have any questions and you want me to ask Sia while she's here, do go ahead and put it into the chat. But if people want to find out more information about TikTok TTS, TikTok Shop,
The colloquial.
Only
the insects.
What's the best means for them to get more information and things like that?
So if you're able to put that slide back up that has the QR code, I've also included our like general inquiries email on the bottom. So that's ukseller@tiktok.com. I actually maintain that inbox. So
you're going to be speaking to Sia directly.
Exactly. So feel free to send an email with any questions. If I don't know the answer, I'll be able to route it internally to get an answer for you. Or what you can do is that ticket chat that I mentioned earlier. So if you go on Seller Center, you can either submit a ticket or you can chat live with our customer service. I would recommend submitting a ticket or talking with customer service for more technical issues, like, my product's not uploading for some reason, what's going on? And then, if you need some more guidance around growth strategy or, you want some tips or you're confused about like how to create certain content, then that's where you can email my team and we can help get you connected with the expert in that field.
In that field. No, that's good to know. And what C is also saying is that the song request that you have as well that you wanted to sing, just drop it into that email as well.
I think that's why the mics went off last time. Peter was like, no.
He's like, no. Well, no, that's great. That's really, really good to know. Any final words before we wrap up today's conversation?
Well, first, thank you so much for having me on and giving me this opportunity to let people know about TikTok Shop.
That's so good.
I think we've covered mostly everything. Like we said, Amanda, my colleague, is going to be back with some more great content on how to make content. What
can people look forward to in that upcoming conversation, and why is it important for people to tune into that one as well?
It's really important for you guys to tune in. It's going to include exclusive tips and tricks, like insider tips and tricks on how to go about creating lives, how to go about creating shoppable content, how to go about working with creators in the best way, and ways that actually make sales. Because a lot of the feedback we get from sellers who maybe aren't privy to this information is, I'm going live every single day, I'm getting 2 or 3 viewers. It's not very motivating.
Yeah.
So Amanda is going to teach you all about like how to actually set yourself up for success in that avenue, and then also just like a little more about how to approach starting up on TikTok Shop.
Yeah, no, that's really, really good to know. Can we watch the full recording? Rizwan asked, can we watch? Rizwan, what do you mean by that? Are you talking about this recording, or are you talking about the upcoming conversation where I'll be speaking to Amanda about what sort of content that you guys and we should be creating on TikTok Shop? Just let me know, Rizwan, and I will ask Sia while she's here. But yeah, no. What I was gonna say is that if you can give us insights and the hacks, the tips and tricks, I guess people always want to know how to maximize on things that they should be doing rather than just hitting in the dark. Because, like I said, people that are starting up or people that are that don't have the millions and the billions that other people do, time's precious. The pounds and the pennies are precious, so they want to make sure that they're directing them and focusing them in the right place. So I'm hoping Amanda comes with that real the good stuff.
Oh, she's
because
so good.
you've set a real expectation now.
Good. I want everyone to join. Just one thing on that, pounds and time is precious. I think another great thing about TikTok Shop compared to, other platforms is this is all organic. You're not paying for this traffic.
You're not paying for the traffic.
Exactly. You don't need to spend tons of money to make content either. You can get a ring light. You don't need like a studio like this either. You can get a ring light for your phone. 18 pounds on Amazon maybe.
You're promoting Amazon? Oh no!
I mean TikTok Shop.
I hope no one from TikTok's watching. She's promoting Amazon.
I want a ring light on TikTok Shop. And you can get started. It's organic, it's free traffic, and you can go viral if you're doing things the right way. Yeah. And if you're doing things the right way, this is what Amanda's going to tell us.
Exactly. So Rizwan said, sorry, I missed the earlier part of the current discussion interview. So will this be available to watch from the start? Very helpful. Thank you. Yes, Rizwan, you can watch all this broadcast. It's going to stay on our YouTube channel. So yeah, you can go back to the beginning and hear everything that Sia had to share in today's. I don't know why I'm looking at my phone like Rizwan's there when he's over there. Here Rizwan. Yeah, you can go right back to the beginning and you'll be able to watch everything from the get. It's all going to be there as well. And if you guys want to find out when we're going to be going live with Amanda, we've already got a date confirmed, but I don't have it in here right now. End of May. I think it's the 24th of. Let me check. Use the calendar quickly. Yes, it's the 24th of May. I knew it. I did know it. So the 24th of May, Amanda will be joining us in the studio to go over everything content, what we need to be doing to be successful, and to make sure that we're hitting the right targets properly. Right. So, Sia, it's been great having you here. Thank you. No, I'm sure it will. We had quite a few questions come through as well. So, yeah. Any last words before we ask you to sing?
Join TikTok Shop. We can help you grow your business.
Join TikTok Shop. They can help you grow your business. So if you've got a product, if you have something that you know has done well elsewhere, get on TikTok Shop. Let these guys help you explore and tune in on the 24th of May, where I'll be speaking to Sia's colleague Amanda, who's going to be bringing us genuine nuggets, tips, tricks, hacks about what we need to be doing to strategically make sure that we're actually going to be successful on the platform. As Sia said, you don't want to start a live stream and then find out you've only got 2 or 3 people watching. You want to make sure that you want to see that what the effort that you're putting in is actually going to bring in a return. And that's what Amanda is going to bring to the table on the 24th of May. We've built her up so much. If Amanda does not deliver, oh my gosh.
There's no doubt.
Amanda, if you're watching and listening, honestly, you've got to revise. You've got to revise. But thank you for joining us on today's episode of UKBF Talks. Apologies for the technical issues. Like we said, this is the first time we've had an American on the show, so it probably sent a shockwave across all our equipment as well, because the accent and all that stuff, probably weren't prepared for it. So
the accent you were talking about earlier, you're American.
Yeah, that was my I'm gonna stop there. Yeah, but yeah, apologies for the technical issues. And if you are new to UKBF, or you've never heard about UKBF before, UKBF UK Rooms, it's the largest online platform and community for small and micro business owners. So if you're starting up in business, if you're in the medium phases of your business journey, or you're smashing it, you're a millionaire, all these different people are within the UKBF platform. And so we're going to put a link into the chat right now, ukbf.co.uk. People head over there and check it out. It's a free platform to use. There's around 500,000 people within our community, and it's all about peer-to-peer support. If you've got questions about different areas of business that you want an expert to give you advice on, that's where to go. There's how-to guides in your marketing, in your sales, and we've got very, very exciting news coming up in the next couple of weeks as well. So head over to the links in the chat now. Head over there, and I'll see you on there. Sia, have a good time going back to the headquarters in London.
I'm going home.
You going home? Oh, she's going home. She's working from home. All right, that's what she says. All right, thank you guys, and we will see you on the 24th, and I will see you next week.